Hey friends, TUXX here. This is a by request video. People have asked me to review the Surfans F20, which is one of my newer videos in my queue. You can check it out. But they also want me to compare it to the Sony NW-A306. Okay, so this particular video is about that. And first, I have to do a little disclaimer here. This is not apples versus apples, okay? This is a $350 player that maybe you can find on sale for about $300. And this particular player is a under $200 player, which is a upgrade from the previous, Surfans F20, which is, a classic player from a couple years ago, which still performs great today, for sure. But is like, 350 versus under 200, okay? Now, with that being said, if the monetary is not an issue, then please continue on here and just know that if you're looking just for the best player for under, let's call it under $500 or under $350 or whatever, here's the difference. Okay, so this player, first off, you can see the full review back in my queue, but this is a great little player. This truly is an upgrade from the previous F20. Bigger display. This is better than the F35 as far as touchscreen goes. It does play high definition, lots of great information. Of course, you can do playlists. It's easy to connect to your computer and add music to it. But make no mistakes, this is not an Android player. This is something where this is meant to play music, and it does have an ebook function, which I would really recommend because of the size of the screen, but you could in a pinch if you wanted to, As far as menus go, I find the menu system on the Sony a little bit better, which is really nice, but I do like the way you can just plug in the Surfans to a computer and just drop music. The Sony one requires very particular file folders for music videos and that kind of thing, and if you don't put the music in the right file folder, as simple as that sounds, you're going to have a bad time. You're not going to be able to find your music, So it does make it a little bit less plug and play. So if I was to take out, the memory card out of the Sony one here and plug it into some other player, it may or may not find the music. That is, it may not find the music because it's in a file folder, which is not the same as other players, okay? And while every player has its own thing, I think ultimately the most convenient way of being able to plug one flash memory card with music from one player to another, it's just no file folders. Just have one big old file of music, and then the player itself can go ahead and devise, albums, themes, that kind of thing, They both can turn off. This is turning off as a battery screensaver function. This one goes a little bit longer, I think, the way I have it set up right now, They're both really good players, and I keep saying that, but if they really can't go too wrong, if you're going to try and get into music, they're both excellent. If I was to buy just one, okay, I'm buying just one, and money doesn't really matter so much. I guess what I would think about, if you're spending $350, you can buy this for $350, or you could buy this one for under $200 and still have $100 and change, or maybe a little more to buy a really nice pair of in-ear monitors or headphones, okay? And that won't buy you like the flagship Sony products for, the earbuds, the noise canceling earbuds, or their, factory spec top of the line, over the ear headphones, but it will buy you a nice little pair of headphones, This does not come with anything, nor does this, okay? So you would have to buy headphones with either of them. So that is something to consider, But ultimately, guys, what would I do? I mean, they both feel good in the hand. I think the Sony one, I like the way, and I talked about this a little bit on the unboxing for this one. The Sony one, if you're trying to use the buttons on the side here, the buttons are kind of low, so they're a little hard to use, actually. I wish they would light up or have something like white lettering on them or something, but I like the way if you're in a car and you're trying to listen to music and you're fast forwarding through tracks, you can hold it this way. You can see the screen here. So you're pressing buttons on the top, okay? And you can see the screen. One thing that really bugs me about this one is the fact that if you're holding it in the car, pressing buttons like this while you're driving, you're driving, and you're pressing buttons here, the screen is facing away from you. Okay, so you really can't see what's happening as well. And that's just a little thing, but it just goes to show you that maybe when they made this unit, they weren't quite thinking out some of the convenience factors. Hopefully in the future versions of, Surfans, 40 or whatever it might be, F40, maybe they'll have it so when you're actually holding the device, you can press the buttons and see the screen as opposed to pressing the buttons and seeing the back, just a little thing. But besides that, I find the menu system, it's easier to get to on here. It's more intuitive on here. There's more sound effects that you can do on here, like, you know, vinyl digital filters, DSP, so much more. A lot of, you can see my video for all the different things on here, but it has a lot of high quality music adjustments, which will make your music sound even better, you know, on here. But it's a little bit lower in volume, and it's a little bit slower on boot up, okay? This is a little bit faster, but it doesn't sound quite as good as this one. Although they both sound really good, and I did have a couple HD music moments listening to this, testing this, where I heard some things which I hadn't previously heard. Sometimes in HD music, when you're listening to a super high quality music file, you hear like a little something, a little snare drum, or a little something, a little synth or whatever that you never heard before. And that is like a magical moment, being able to hear something in a song you've heard 1,000 times before, but now you're able to hear something really unique. And I did get that off this. So even though it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of this player, you know, it does have great sounding audio, and you'll get some of those HD moments, I believe, with this, with the right pair of headphones and the right music file. Now, again, I guess I should disclaimer this video that, of course, there's 3 things you need to having good HD music, and that is 1, a high quality music file, number 2, a great player, and number 3, high quality headphones or earbuds or in-ear monitors or whatever you want to call them. You need a device to get it to your ear, you know. And without those 3 things, you know, if one of them breaks the chain, if you have a $1,000 music player or something higher than this one, you know, but your earphones are junk, you're not going to have a great HD experience. So that's something to think about, okay? But ultimately, okay, to wrap this up here, you know, TUXX, which one would you buy? Which one would you buy, man? I would say that I would probably have to say the Sony one is what I would buy, okay? If given all the options. Again, if your money's tight, and if you need something under $200, this is a fantastic player. And in fact, I would probably say I would buy this player over like a cheap Sony, like a $70 Sony player or something. But if it's between these 2 players, I would buy this one. The Sony NW-A306 is, again, a fantastic player and best in class, I think, for sound, you know, and features and everything involved, you know. So, and of course, that lovely screensaver. I love that screensaver. I've had this player for what, like a year and a half, 2 years or something? It's been a while, and I still love that screensaver. I wasn't sure if that would wear off in time, but I used to get comments about it. I love it myself. It really is a nice flashback to days of cassettes, and I was more of a vinyl guy than a cassette guy. But anyway, to wrap up this video, guys, both great players. Buying one, I'd buy this one, okay? Thanks for watching. Put your comments down below, and I will have links for both these players down below in the description, okay? We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.